Yes, it is this game again. I know this is going to be the third video of the day, but I do not care because I have been playing this a lot today. And I gotta say, it's pretty fun. So now that I've gotten here, I'm just going to actually record through all of this, and I'm going to time-lapse all the times where I die. But the other things I'm just going to kind of skim through, and I'm going to talk about. So once I end up getting, to the final one where I beat this, I'm just going to say it should be a real fun ride. So this first fight, I'm going to talk about it while playing it, and the next few fights, I'm going to just skim over and time lapse. And so it begins. Very fun, enjoyable fight in this game. And I gotta say, I really, really do enjoy it. Now, I know that wasn't the best, little thing there. I didn't really do the best that I could have done. But, I mean, honestly, you know what? I didn't mean to, and I forgot to equip certain things. So, before I do the next couple fights, I'm gonna definitely go and equip those. But, this first time, let's just see how far we get. This is my favorite fight in the game. See, look at that. As I say it, I die. So you know what? Just gonna say it now. We're in for a wild ride.
So the reason why I did so bad in that first fight was because I forgot to equip the two best items in the game, which would have really helped me out. So I went and equipped those, and I rearranged my inventory and started doing this. And I just time-lapsed this whole fight because I knew for a fact I was going to die. And I turned on the light behind me because it was really hard to see, and in the next clip in fact just leave the closet entirely because of the fact that I was using the controller and it was extremely difficult to even go about using that. But I got relatively far during this one, so that's nice.
Okay, so while I was doing that, I realized I'm using the controller for the Switch, and that is much more difficult to do than, with something like, just the Switch on its own. So instead, I'm actually gonna go in, sit on my bed and do this, and I'm just gonna have the phone pointed at my camera because it's so much more difficult doing that with the controller. So it may not be as good looking as that was, but it's the best I can do, really, without, just getting, back cramps or something while doing this. Also, one thing to point out, I'm just gonna record all of the next stuff, and I might, I'm just gonna record all of it because of the fact that that was really close. I almost got to the end there. That was, 3-4 attacks away from being the end. So, instead, I'm just gonna not talk at all during the next fight, and the next fight if I die again, so it'll just be the audio from this, and I might voice it over.
I will voice it over. And the thing about this fight is that I actually won during it. And I apologize that you can see my face, but, couldn't do anything there about that. And I'm glad, because I got a flawless first part of this, where I took no damage at all, and I'm pretty happy about that. But the thing is that with some of these attacks, they are difficult to dodge, and it's just getting into a rhythm like those, jumping up and down. But getting into a rhythm with a joystick, even with keys and a keyboard, it's still ridiculously difficult. So that's why so many people have a hard time fighting Sans, just because of the fact he's one of those bosses that has rhythmic attacks, but also is just extremely difficult to deal with in general. But I will say, it is an extremely fun fight. And honestly, even though it's harder than some of the simulators online, it's just flat out great. And the fact that he's self-aware that he's in a game the entire time and everything like that just adds to the little character motive behind him. So it's definitely enjoyable, I'll say that as much. But for attacks like these, I'm relatively good at them. That's why I could get through this one pretty simply without taking damage. And that's good, since I didn't really have to I don't think I ate any items in this until, till maybe a quarter way through. I can't really see because the voiceover option for this takes up about half of the, half the screen, so I can barely see what's going on. But I do know that I think I take damage here, if I recall correctly. I think. Something like that, yeah. But it is a fun fight. I just can't get that across enough. It's good. It's just a great game overall, and this has been one of my favorite games for years. So I'll just shut up now, and I'll let you watch the rest of this. Now, I know there was a jump cut, but it is the same attempt. It's just that my brother called me, and I didn't want anybody to hear that in the video, so I paused the game, and I just talked to him, did whatever he wanted, and then went back to this. So, still the same attempt, just wanted to clarify.
I have done it once again. Second genocide run, and I have beaten Sans. That was fun. That was fun, I will admit. And you know what? Doing that, it always gets my heart racing because that fine little circle thing absolutely terrifies me. Because it really just makes you wanna, like, go around in, like, a different direction than you need to, and it really freaks you out. But you know what? I've done it, and I'm very happy about it. Anyway, he has his little spiel here with his dialogue and everything, so it takes a second for it to get to the final part. But the reason I know I beat him, in case anyone doesn't know what's happening here, is that his thing is like, I'm gonna use my special attack, which is nothing, it's literally nothing, where he doesn't do anything, he just stays there because the logic is it will never be your turn if he doesn't ever do anything. So, you know what? The thing that happens is he literally just stands there for about a minute or so, but then, you know, after a while of his little dialogue and everything, he starts to get tired, and, you know, his eyes start to shut, which should, start in a few seconds, but it is nice because the way that you defeat him is by breaking the fourth wall, by moving the little hitbox area, which you then move down to the fight option and you can kill him with. So I'll do that in a second when it starts. Ah, here we go. So he's starting to shut his eyes and everything as the sprites start changing. And for this one, he is starting to, you know, starting to get a little tired. And once that begins to happen, that is when he falls asleep completely, and which should happen in around a few seconds, I believe. Yep. Then you move the entire box over, which you have to be all the way to the side that you can get that down to the fight button. And I don't care how boring you tell me these videos are, but dang, I have fun making them, so that's how I feel, alright? They are fun. Anyway, yeah, press that. He wakes right back up thinking it's fine. I didn't press that button, by the way. The game did that on its own. That's not me. That's all the game doing that for me. Because the game is self-aware, knowing that it can make decisions for you once you start getting into the genocide run. That's why I absolutely love it. Because normally, if you were to be nice to people by doing stuff for them, it would just flat out walk by them and they'd get upset in this run. So, very enjoyable. This is where he then decides to go out to get something to eat, but it's just a little segue into the fact that he dies in mere moments. Remember his brother that I killed earlier? That was, yeah, pretty fun. That's a pretty fun fight. Anyway, yeah, I'll stop making content about Undertale, sorry if anyone was bored. I know that there's literally no views on the past 2 videos last I checked. I don't really care, but I need you to know, I really like Undertale.